What's up,
Hello,
Sean?
Rom.
Ram, if you follow Ram, if you've seen his face before, he doesn't normally look like a pedophilic serial killer. It's a new thing he's going with.
I'm really
Kevin
enjoying
Spacey
this.
look. All right.
And I do like it though.
I look like a bald Borat.
I don't know.
I mean,
I-
that's big shoes to fill right there with Borat.
I mean,
Yeah.
my sister is the number 4 prostitute and all of Kazakhstan.
Your wife is dead. Very nice.
Where's your camera, Jim? I don't see you.
Are you serious? Sean,
Yeah.
you see me, right?
No.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, your camera's
Oh,
on.
my camera's been on this whole time. You can.
Unless you're naked and you don't want to show anybody.
Just John
Yeah.
Cena. Just can't see this.
Oh, I turned it off. Now I turned it on.
And you're
Still
not
nothing?
there.
Nothing.
All right, I will leave and I will come back. Peace out.
Fuck off. No, what the fuck? That's weird. It's
Has that ever
dude,
happened before?
Riverside is very wonky. Some days it's perfect and everything's crystal clear. Other days it's like,
There we go.
Can you see me?
yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
There we
Dude,
go.
the whole time we were talking, Sean.
I thought
before
you
we
were being bashful. I was like, I don't know, maybe he's working.
No. I was finishing rubbing one out, and that's why I was off. Yeah, I had no idea because it's showing me on my end. Anyway, I'm back. Lucky for you guys.
And we're still recording.
Yeah, no,
This is perfect.
and we're still recording. That's the one thing I like about it. Like with Zoom, if you exit out,
Right, then
meeting's over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bald Borat. I don't know. You're looking like, you know what you reminded me of right now?
What?
Have you guys seen Gray Man?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome movie.
Great movie.
All right, now I gotta watch it.
Dude,
With
I've
Ryan,
watched-
with Chris Evans.
Oh,
Ryan.
Okay. I haven't
Ryan
seen
got
it, but I know
yeah, and Aram looks like the
Chris Evans.
thick-necked, jacked version of Chris Evans.
I
And
like the
bald.
fact that you just made sure that I look like Chris Evans, who's a handsome man, but I'm bigger and stronger than Chris Evans.
Chris
Yeah.
Evans if he was a pedophile. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Dude, all you need, Aram, are like the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses right now.
God.
I'll get it.
You need
it,
to-
sir.
You need to get a pair of wire-framed glasses, the 80s style, and just walk around schools,
I'm
going to.
yeah. Just own it.
playgrounds.
Go
Yeah.
for it.
I live in way too woke of a state. They'll fucking lock me up in 2 seconds. Or
Nah.
they'll be like, "Wait, are you one of those people that identify as a child? You'll be fine."
Yeah. Playgrounds, dog parks with no dog.
Yeah,
Volunteer to be the crossing guard at the local elementary school.
I identify as
You'll
a
be fine.
12-year-old girl, so it's fine.
Oh man, your
You're like-
chest
you're-
is as big.
Sean, you fucked up, bro. You signed up for the wrong situation.
No. This is my kind of humor. Absolutely. I've had people come into our gym and be like dropping in and they're like, "Oh, this isn't like the gym I go to." I'm like, "Yeah, like we're dark here. We just kind of say it how it is, you know? We have fun. Like it is what it is."
Well, let's give our shout out immediately to Jamie Sciarla for setting
100%.
us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, me and Sean went through an 023
Mhm.
level 1 certification. He moved on. I got the level 2, but it's like a holistic approach to things. Interesting take on stuff. The one thing I really did like that stood out to me. Every one of our meetings we'd start with breathing, which I thought was great. Just center, focus. This is what we're here for. Don't be distracted. And we're not changing anything that you're doing. So like everybody sleeps. Everybody eats,
Yep.
everybody drinks, everybody moves.
Mhm.
Let's just
Get better
sleep
at it.
different. Yeah, get better at those things.
Yeah.
So it was
What's
Yeah,
the
it was
what's the
good
class
stuff.
called? Or certification called?
023, which stands for the other 23 hours of the day. Everybody's so
that's-
focused on that 1 hour in the gym. Yeah.
The guy who created it was like a CrossFit coach,
Yeah.
and everybody would come in and be like, "This is the best hour of my day," which is awesome. But then kept finding like the same people that were doing that. They had their workout routine down, but they would come in and still complain about the rest of their life, and he'd be like, "There's more here to attack." And so that's kind of like where he set out with it.
Yeah. Did he like move down to South America or something?
I think so. He handed it off to Jordan, who was his partner.
Yeah.
And I think like he started getting in with like the Goda guys, and like I mean, I feel like to create a program like that, you have to kind of think differently. You know,
Yeah.
you kind of got to cut across the vein there a little bit. And so I think, you know,
He went
he
all
had
in.
a different kind of calling, and he wanted to kind of go with that. I mean, they talked about too how like they've gone down and done ayahuasca and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So like, definitely, I think he's like trying to figure out where he fits in with the spectrum of like health and everything like
Yeah.
that. So
That's cool. Yeah, I like that guy Jordan. He was good.
Jordan's a good dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually, he's like, he took it over and he's trying to like move it forward and everything like that. And I did a podcast with him. He's a good guy.
Nice.
So do you incorporate ayahuasca into your CrossFit gym?
Dude, people make
Yes.
jokes about that at my gym. I'm very open about like who I'm as a human, like, you know, things I've done and all that kind of stuff, and the way I think, like very philosophical, like,
Yeah.
you know, I'll joke around with my coaching. I'm like, time is a construct, like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I like it.
it is who I am as a person. Like I'm really into that kind of stuff. But no, I mean, it is Austin, Texas. There are some shamans here. I'm sure I could have.
There's
them
plenty.
come do
Yeah, it's a
some-
fucking weird.
Yeah,
So what stuff are you honest about?
just like, I mean, like I'll tell people like, yes, I've done mushrooms, and like I like to do mushrooms and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And in a setting where like mind expansion and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like I'm not doing
Yeah.
it partying. Like I'm doing it intentionally.
Correct.
You know, me and my girlfriend or something like that, trying to connect more.
Yeah.
My dad is a 77-year-old hippie. So
Oh, that's awesome.
my dad grew up in the free love era. Like he knew Timothy Leary, like
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
stories.
Shit.
And so like I was raised in that kind of thing.
Have you done mushrooms with him?
No, I haven't yet.
What?
No, I know. So
Are you going to invite him?
yes, me and him have plans for doing that, but my journey with that kind of stuff's really interesting because when I was a teenager, like I played football and I was just like very like, I don't know, straight and narrow, I guess, even though my dad, you know, was not. And like my mom and dad were very interesting. My mom was the very like hard nosed, like if I got hurt in baseball, she's like, rub dirt on it, you little bitch, you know? And my dad was like, let's talk about it, man. Like, you know, because he's a hippie, right? And so it was a very interesting contrast I got. And I think during my teen years, I was so focused on like trying to get a football scholarship and working out and all that kind of stuff that like, I kind of was like, I wasn't against drugs and stuff like that, but it just didn't play a big part in my life. Also, because it was right next to me. So I'm like, I don't fucking need to go out and party and smoke and drink. Like, if I want it, I have probably better than anything you guys can get, you know, right here type of thing. And so it wasn't until I would say in the past 5 or 6 years where I started kind of getting more into that. And that kind of coincided with my journey of like finding philosophy and mindfulness practice and kind of that stuff, kind of like post-COVID a little bit. And it helped too. My sister passed away when I was 19 and I stuffed all that shit down like, you know, a 19-year-old guy does. Didn't know how to handle any of that. And then once COVID hit, a lot of that bubbled up to the surface for me. And that's kind of what set me on my path to try to like take ownership over that stuff. And along with that, like slowly along that journey was introducing some more psychedelic aspects to it just to help along that. But before I did, I created a solid base of kind of like mindfulness practice, self-awareness practice. And then that just kind of layered on. Because I do think there are people that their whole identity gets caught up with the psychedelic movement. You know, their whole like identity is tied up in, especially in Austin and the tech bros.
Be weird.
Yes, be weird. But then it's a weird thing too, where now it's like shrooms and all these things, people are microdosing so they can be more productive and AI. It's a weird thing.
Have you seen the bit of that guy? He's an interesting looking guy. He's got like khaki shorts on, t-shirt tucked in, comedian. He's wearing big rape glasses. And he's like, what's up with people microdose to be more productive at work? What the fuck is going on? What happened to take it so much that you blast off into space and you find God and and he just goes on this long rant. It was unbelievable.
Yes.
He's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to try to be more productive?
Yeah, exactly. It's the opposite of what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. It's such a good bit.
Yeah, but for me, so like it's been something that's been more recent in my life, but it's just another aspect of like the things that I do for myself to help with just staying grounded and present and working on my mindfulness and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I think it's
It's a
key
tool.
being
You got to be ready
mindful
for
about
shrooms.
it. Yeah, you got to be ready. Have a little bit of a base. Be open. All that
Absolutely.
stuff is huge. It's such a big deal. Like what you said is right on. That the culture of it is like going this direction of just like party.
Yeah.
And then there's just so many people. There's one person specifically that I'm picturing. This guy Jeremy Awakens, I think is his name.
I thought you
And
were,
it's
I thought you were going
Yes.
to reference.
Dude.
I thought you were going to reference me a couple.
Is
weeks
this like
ago
an
at that party.
Instagram person?
Yes.
Oh God.
And it's just like he pushes it so hard.
Mm.
And it's like he just has his like micro dose mushroom course teacher, and then you can just see from his posts he's just so insecure. Like it's him dancing to the shirt. This is what it's like when you get into your own. And I'm like, you're just using this to pick up chicks, dude.
Yeah, pick up chicks, make money. I mean, that's social media in a nutshell. But like, it's selling a course on this that's next level. That's taking influencer culture to a next level. We sell courses on how to take psychedelic drugs.
I mean, listen, Sean,
We've fallen so far.
If you saw the poor attempt that I had at taking mushrooms a couple of weeks ago, you would realize I needed a fucking course.
You need a course. All right.
I did not do it right, and I did not do it in the right place, and it was not a good experience. I mean,
Dude,
it wasn't a bad experience.
Yeah, set and setting is everything for sure. Like that's why it's so. I mean, I talk to people, and it's so with the experiences I've had, it's so interesting to me when people say like they take it in a party scene or something like that. I'm like,
not interested.
Yeah, I'm like, God, like the things for me, it's been like I have to like sit there and confront myself. Like I ain't trying to do that in a party setting.
I want to be alone. Yeah, I don't even like if it, maybe I don't even want to have a friend with me. 99%. I want to be alone. Yeah.
Yeah, and then afterwards, like on the come down, like I need a fucking journal about that shit. Like, whoa.
Well, that's where it's like I got to bust the camera out because you can't see or write or anything. No. And I'm like, if a thought comes up, I'll take like a video, and then it's that's a good post. It's funny.
I was at a fucking party in San Diego, and it was like a themed country western party for this girl's birthday, and I took the wrong drug, and like 40 minutes into it, I bought these caps that were supposed to be 0.5s, and I measured them. They were all about like 0.3, 0.35. Mm-hmm. And I texted the kid. I'm like, dude, you kind of scammed me. He's like, no, I'm sorry. Like the machine wasn't filling them right. I'll get you a better batch. So I'm like, okay, well, I've taken up to 2 grams before. Nothing has happened because I've bought mushrooms from them before, and they sat around for like 5 months, and I never did anything with them. So obviously they lost potency, and this batch that he gave me was relatively potent. Right. So I ate like 6 of these caps at one shot. So it's at least 1.5 grams, if not almost 2.
At least, yeah.
And they were actually potent this time. So I walked into this party, and as soon as I walked in, about 30 minutes into it, it started to hit me. And I'm like, wait, I think I'm tripping on mushrooms. And I'm looking around, like I'm watching this guy talk on the porch, and every time he moves his hands, there's like this light around his hands. The backdrop is the San Diego airport, and there's a ton of lights there. So those lights are fucking beaming. And all of a sudden,
you're like, I saw a UFO.
Fuck. And then I went to the bathroom, and the bathroom had these little tiny hexagonal like tiles all around it, and these things are starting to like bounce at me. That I'm trying to like text on my phone, and the keys are coming up. I'm like, okay, fuck, I'm not in a good setting for this.
No, absolutely not. That's a lot of stimulation. Just like looking at a phone when you're on it is just like you get esoteric with you, like, oh, what are we doing to the world with technology? Like, is there consciousness inside of this? You know, whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that sometimes it's like this device is floating in front of me. It's like, no, I'm holding it. It's so high def. My phone's never more clear. Then you can't see it.
Wasn't ready for it. I mean, I'm still going to keep trying because I want to find my dose with it. Like I want to find my experience with it because I'm not quite there yet. I'm so used to
7 grams on a Wednesday afternoon.
I'm not going for
right after work.
I'm going to become a fucking
right before work.
Productivity. Productivity, dude.
Productivity. 7 times the productivity if you do 7 grams.
Every gram is another ounce of productivity.
Yeah. That's like Ed Milet. I have 3 days every day. From 4 a.m. to noon. That's day 1. I did it from noon to this. I love those videos where the guy's like,
then I cold plunge and then I sauna.
Yeah.
The guy that's got or Chris, whatever his name is, it's got a 7-hour morning routine. Which just
God, that guy's awful. He identifies as a trillionaire.
And he eats
Oh, no,
400 grams of protein a day. And then I remember one comment on one of his posts is like,
That has to be a joke.
I don't think you need.
Is it a joke account, like making fun of influencers?
No, this is a real guy.
No,
yeah,
I know the guy who runs a social media account for him. And even I asked him, I'm like, why is he like that? He's like, bro, he just likes to be sensational. That's who he is.
It's that I just like the videos where people make fun of that Ed Milet 3 days in 1 day video, and he's like, every minute is a day for me, so I'm actually producing every minute. They just like make fun of this whole you have 3 days in 1 day thing.
I do love
hilarious.
the joke accounts like Entrepreneur, where they make fun of like the hustle culture stuff.
I gotta look that up.
It's hilarious. Like there's a guy that's literally just created like a character that makes fun of all the hustle culture stuff.
He'll be like up on stage talking and shit. It's like black and white. It looks like it's legit. Yes.
And he's, he's like, sell me this pin. And he pulls out a gun. Give me the fucking pin.
Yeah.
That's persuasion.
Is that the guy that makes fun of Hormozy all the time? Is that the same one?
I don't know. I don't think it's Alex, but
the person who I think that you're talking, it's just like it's presented as if he's like up on a stage speaking at an event, and he's and he's talking, and it seems like it's like a highlight film of like one of his speeches, and it's just like it'll be like I mean, if you want to work for this company, I mean, we got to see your dick. We need to know. Yeah, be like
how do I know?
How do I know? You want to be living the big dick lifestyle. You need to have a big dick, and it's like cutting different angles. Like it's this motivational speech. He's like, if you're not rocking 8 inches, you can't work for this company. If you want to have $1 billion corporation, you need people with big dicks too.
That's true.
You can't just have big dick energy without a big dick. And it's like, he goes on these rants. It's hilarious, and it's dead serious.
Hilarious. Yeah. Because it'll start off too. It'll be like, I'm getting these kids' resumes these days, and I'm looking top of their class at Harvard. And you're like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of those. And then all of a sudden it veers off into but I don't see anywhere where you're putting your dick size on this. How am I supposed to know? You're like, whoa, what? Like lures you into thinking it's one of those, motivational hustle culture videos. And they're like, oh, okay, they're making fun of this.
Yeah. There's one I follow that's just like words, like fake motivation stuff. I forget what it's called, like unmotivation or whatever. And it's like, like you control your future and you'll probably ruin it.
Yeah.
Like one of those kinds of things. I love that kind of stuff. So Sean, you're in Texas.
Yep. Austin, Texas. Moved out here in 2018. So been out here for a while now. I was pre-Rogan. That's what I tell everybody.
Austin, Texas.
Pre-boom, pre-Rogan, pre the comedy scene.
He followed you there.
Austin's a great place. Austin's changed so much, but hasn't changed at all in like the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's been. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's still got the food truck vibe, which I love. Oh, yeah. It's got Dirty Six, which is just fun for about 5 minutes until you realize that you're not drunk enough to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's got a lot of like nice little pockets. I got a buddy that's been living there forever. He's a I don't know if it's actually a real thing, but he identifies as a professional skee ball player.
Out here, dude, anything.
Yeah.
Like it's his job?
Like he gets paid to play in skee ball tournaments and usually wins and like walks out with like a couple of grand at a time. And he drinks at least a 12-pack of Bud Heavies and then at least a carton of Marb Reds every 2 days. Very healthy individual.
Does he have another job?
Yeah. I think
because if not, how many skee ball tournaments are there that he does not need a job?
There's a lot, but I think he manages like an apartment complex somewhere in Austin is like his day job, but like his career is recreational sports. He's like he's one of those kids that like if you looked at him, he looks like the most like sinewy, out of shape, like first person to go in a zombie apocalypse, like just no muscle mass. But then if you put him on a basketball court, he will just walk up and down the court and drain threes nonstop. He can catch a football with 2 fingers from anywhere on the field. He can skee ball. He can shoot. He can throw a fucking Frisbee. Like he's a scratch golfer. He's just so good at sports or like even like recreational stuff. It's almost annoying because you're like, I actually try to do these things and I'm bad at all of them. You don't try to do anything or develop yourself at all as a human being. And you're just good at all of this stuff. How does that happen?
That's that sneaky level athleticism right there.
I know.
Just hiding underneath. the
I know.
degenerate, tendencies he has.
I just don't have it.
Ridiculous.
Here I am trying to like
Yeah.
take care of myself and eat healthy and fucking work out, and then
Can't
he
shoot a
just
basketball to save your life.
no, fucking tore Achilles playing flag football for 5 minutes, and he's fine, never injured in his life.
That's hilarious.
God
Yeah,
help
I
me
mean,
with
out
both
here in
hands.
Austin, man, that's definitely a thing. It's
Yeah.
I mean, I especially now with the comedy scene out here, the amount of people
Yeah.
that like are just trying to make it big in comedy, just like living out of their cars and everything like that. Like when I first moved out here, it was, I mean, it was a mix of a big city, little city, but now with Rogan out here and like everybody and their mother like doing podcasting out here and stuff like that, like it's turned into almost like LA, like Hollywood at least a little bit, where everybody like is trying to come out here and make it out here. And so you have so many people like in the downtown area, like living out of their cars and stuff like that. But then at night, like playing music or whatever, which, is cool, but it's also, I don't know, it's interesting, the clash of cultures. We have a thing going on right now where like a lot of the people that moved out from California are actually moving back to California.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, just because like that's my dog. They moved out here during COVID thinking it was going to be, the blue dot and the red state and everything like that, which it is. But I mean, it's still Texas, and it's still, it's still Texas. And even in Austin, like that's why I like it, because like you can have people with differing ideas like talk to each other and be like, okay, like for sure we disagree or whatever, but you drive 10-15 minutes outside of the city and there's just Confederate flags, Trump flags, stuff like that, and some people who moved here from California ain't liking that, right? So they're moving back. But it's been even in the small time I've lived here from 2018 to now, it has been very interesting to see how it has changed, but also like you said, Aram, like stayed the same. Like the core aspect of Austin is still the same, which is like this: you have a passion or something like that, you can come out here and try to go for it, be weird, whatever that kind of is, type of thing. It's just now there's Tesla gigafactories surrounding you when you do that.
You've owned your brick and mortar, obviously, so you
Yeah.
run the gym. And have you had that since you moved out there, or would you open that up?
No, so I bought it in 2021. So I moved out here in 2018. I was a head coach back in California at a gym in the Bay Area.
Oh, you're from San Fran originally, or?
Yeah, well, from San Jose. So
Okay.
like a little not San Fran. Like that's the funny thing about what's happened in Austin is like I moved away from trying to get away from that life, that tech stuff, and now Austin has just kind of turned into that, which I'm like, God, I try to get away from this.
Yeah, but they have money. They have money and they work out. So
yeah, it's true. I was going to San Jose State to get my degree, exercise science, and while I was there, this was like the early 2010s. I found CrossFit and like fell in love with it. I was like in my young 20s. Wanted to compete in it the whole 9 years. Like when Rich Froning was big and all that kind of stuff.
Did you compete?
And it was cool. Yeah. So like from like age 21 till about like 27 was kind of my like chunk there, where like my life revolved around going to class at San Jose State, coaching and training like every single day. And I was lucky because I'm going to get my degree in exercise science. Like I'm going to a biomechanics class or exercise phys. And then I'm going right back to the gym and I'm able to coach. And so like I'm able to, yeah, right. So like we just talked about the angle of the knee and force production. And then I'm watching somebody squat. I'm like, ooh, like that's interesting, And then on the vice versa, I'm like learning about something and I'm like, yeah, professor, that's like not applicable actually. Like that's nice and all. But so it was a really cool experience because like most of the other kids in my degree, like we're in my classes, they're like baristas or which is fine. But like, I was lucky enough to be able to be front facing and be on the floor the whole time too and get experience. And so like, I was just living that life. Like I would leave my apartment in the morning and like, I would not be back till like 9 o'clock at night. Like I would be in classes, training, coaching, all of it. And yeah, I competed. I was on a regional team. I didn't go to regionals. It was actually the same weekend that I was graduating college, and I'm a first generation college student and graduate. So like it was a
Nice.
big deal for my family. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go do that. And then,
Yeah, you know, your old man didn't go to fucking college.
No.
He didn't have to. He learned everything he needed to know about life through the cosmos.
Hey, he's
That's
wise.
the beauty.
My dad has seen shit. He is a wise man.
Yeah, he already knows all the answers, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's a channel.
It's my relationship with him was awesome. Like as a teenager, like I said, we had a strained relationship. Now he's my best friend. I love.
Yeah.
I just look back and I'm like, Dad, I'm sorry. I said the things I said when I was a teenager to you, Dad. You were right. You were right.
Yeah, the things you wanted to talk about are so much more interesting now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm like, you're right, dude. We just need more love. Damn.
I thought I needed a bigger bench press, but you were
Yeah.
right.
You were right, Dad. I just need more empathy. Fuck. Yeah, but so did that and got my degree. And then in 2018, my girlfriend at the time and I, we were just kind of like, what's keeping us here in California? The idea of buying a house, like non-existent. Like we had members at my gym that were making 6 figures and living with a roommate in an apartment.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
my life's goal is to own a gym. I ain't gonna fucking be able to do shit, like in the Bay Area. So we just decided to look around, figure out where we maybe want to move, and we picked Austin, Texas, just because again, you have this city, but like it's so. I mean, again, you guys have been here. You can be like 20 minutes north and not be in the city,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right? Be in a suburb or something like that, but still have
hiking some crazy lake, some
Right,
cool
exactly.
cave or waterfall, some weird shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go watch a skee ball tournament or something,
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
it's big in Austin. Aram, have you heard of that?
Yeah. Everything's bigger. It's spread out enough though, because I've never liked living in a city. I don't like city living. I grew up in very small town living in California, and I've never liked being in a city. And so, but I'm trying to make it, whatever that looks like. So I need to be around people, especially with a brick and mortar business and wanting to coach and all that kind of stuff. So we moved to Austin. I didn't have a job lined up when I moved out here. I just had my online coaching at that time, which was only a handful of clients. It was not making a lot of money. I put a lot of debt on my credit card when I moved out here.
That's what they're for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I always think it's funny when people talk about like debt when they're first starting a business and they're so afraid to acquire any of it. I'm like, that is part of being a business owner. Like
Absolutely.
You rack up credit card debt and you pay it the fuck off. That's what they're there for. Like this idea that I'm never going to owe anybody money, it's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that perspective then either because, I was still just trying to get a coaching job. I wasn't even thinking about like owning a business. I mean, granted, I had the online coaching business, but I don't know. I wasn't thinking along those lines. I'm like 28 and this is the first time like I'm really like don't have a stable coaching job. I'm, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? Luckily though, one of the members from my gym in California had moved out here a month prior and she kind of like did the rounds trying to find a good gym because the gym I was at in California had an amazing community, was just like super tight knit, super well ran. Like it was just really awesome. And so trying to find CrossFit gyms like that can be hard. Yeah. And she like tried a lot of different ones and she found this one. She's like, you have to come here. Like, it's just like our gym back home. And I did. And the head coach, who's still our head coach, he's like a golden retriever as a human, like the most authentic, nice guy. Like when I first met him, I was like, what's going on? What's your angle? Like, it's like used car sales me. It's like, Sean, I'm so excited to meet you. All that. I'm like, all right, this guy's like got bodies buried somewhere or something,
Yeah.
No, I've known him for 6 years. He's my best friend now. It's like,
you still haven't found the bodies.
No, I haven't found him. Yeah, I'm still looking. Still looking.
Nobody's found the bodies.
And so it was just, it was just one of those things where like, I felt like that was the place to be. And they didn't have any classes that needed to be coached. And I did the thing where I was like, hey man, can I like coach for free? Just like show them like, hey man, like this is my life. I'm a professional. This is what I care about. And so I would just like kind of coach him classes for free. And he talked to the owners. He's like, we have to get him a class. Like we can't lose him type of thing. And so they just created a class for me, like a 9 a.m. class. And they're like, here, it's yours, which is cool. But I was only making $25 a day, like one class, and still only had the online.
Money's a social construct, Sean.
Yeah.
Abundance is measured in a multitude of ways.
It's true, it's true, but also I got to work within the confines of what we're working with, right?
Yeah,
I'm working in this construct.
So you have to suck dick for rent.
Yeah, hey, listen,
Aram does that even when he's not short on cash.
Hey,
I say so $25 a day.
With that bald haircut,
I enjoy a little bit of protein.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. So,
teaspoon.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing that, and then I actually got to the point where I was like, I don't know if I can make this happen anymore. And I was actually looking at becoming a firefighter, kind of all the things that
it's a good gig.
Oh yeah, so many coaches.
I tried to do that in Connecticut.
Yeah,
and it was too fucking nepotism was too high.
Yeah, it's so funny, like how many people I know who are especially guys that are just like coaches and they just end up becoming firefighters.
Why the fuck wouldn't you? It's the best job in the world. You work for 2 days a week and you get paid for 10.
Yeah, dude, and all the ladies want you.
Yeah,
just fucking pull
and you get on a calendar,
especially with a mustache like this.
Yo,
if I was a firefighter in San Diego with this mustache, my AIDS would have herpes.
Do you really pronounce it mustache?
Yeah.
Wow. Mustache?
Yeah.
I must ask you a question, Rob.
I've never heard that.
I don't like pronouncing it in the general mustache way because it's very aggressive.
I don't like talking like everybody.
Do you like if you have a hot dog, do you like ketchup and mustard?
Yes, I love mustard. I actually call it mustardo because it sounds more
mustardo and ketchup.
Yeah. Because then that way it sounds like a gourmet meal.
You need to move to Austin, dude. You'd fit in perfectly here, dude. You're so unique and special and different.
I like it. I do dig the stash on you. Your jaw's looking fantastic.
I have great stories from Austin. I woke up in some bartender's apartment one day with her 4 roommates. Like you said, everybody in Austin also has 17 roommates.
It's true,
and especially if they're in nightlife, they probably can't afford their apartment anyway. So there's more than one. More. There's like 4 people to a room and there's 2 bedrooms. And that was an interesting place to wake up to, hammered at fucking 7 a.m, trying to figure out where to take a shit in an all girls apartment. Not fun.
Which girl did you pick?
Yeah.
I ran out. I could not have run out of that apartment fast enough to find some local coffee shop so I could shit in it.
Oh, it was on the side of the road. One of the homeless guys.
I would have. It wouldn't have mattered at that point. It was coming out. It was one of those like Jägermeister beer shits at 7 a.m.
Oh god!
Remember Jaeger bombs?
Yeah,
dude,
very well.
That was like my first thing in college. Oh man, I was into those. Going back to my dad, I remember introducing that to my dad. My dad. God. He started trying to make it like a mixed drink. He's like, I'm like, what the fuck?
He's making a cocktail.
Yeah,
not
like
enough,
a cocktail. I'm like,
not enough Jaeger in this Jaeger bomb. We need to make it. Oh, here you go. All right, so this. I don't know why that reminds me. We'll eventually get back. Rob, I don't know if I ever told you about the bloke drink. So I had this friend. He would do like we used to love Black House. We just do shots of Black House and stuff.
Oh god, that's almost worse than Jägermeister.
Yeah, we're not comparing. We're just telling stories.
What's Black House is black licorice schnapps.
It's like a black licorice, yeah.
Yeah.
And we liked it until one day me and a friend like split a bottle and I haven't had it since. But we would have shots of Black House. Then he started doing he would put like Black House and Coke and do like a Black House and Coke. And so we're hanging around Philly, like that's where he spent all our time. He would go to bars and start ordering a bloke. Intentionally knowing that they had no idea what it was. And then they would say, "What's a bloke?" And he would be like, "Oh, Black House and Coke." Like everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
And he literally said out loud, he goes, "I'm just waiting for the day I order it and they know what it is. And then I'll know I made that happen." I'm like, you are a fucking loser.
Yeah.
You're walking around looking like an idiot for years, ordering blokes at every bar, waiting for one day. They'll be like, they'll get you the bloke. And I know you enough to know that you're going to tell them that whole story about how you created the bloke. I actually invented the bloke. Okay, dude, I got other people. No, listen. So what I've been doing here since 2000.
But what do human beings want more than anything in life is to be remembered. So I think his legacy.
What's your legacy?
His legacy is blokes, and that's pretty.
And it's
awesome.
died.
What's your legacy? I don't have a legacy. Like fucking.
I don't have a legacy. I don't want a legacy. Sean, do you think about that? Which is an interesting question. Do you think about like leaving a legacy? Because this is something that we see in a lot of like the entrepreneur space, all that in fitness. You see a lot in fitness entrepreneur space. Do you ever think about a legacy or leaving a legacy?
I would say no, and this like gets into like I got really big into like stoicism, which I know again is really hot right now. I got into it back in like 2019, 2020. Again, during that time when I was kind of like trying to process my sister's death and everything like that. I actually have like Marcus Aurelius tattooed on my forearm right here.
Nice.
And a big part of that is like,
we're nothing.
You're not gonna be fucking around when you're dead. So like you trying to like chase a lot of this shit for something that you're not going to even be able to enjoy, like what the fuck, you know? And so the only thing I would say like chasing from a legacy perspective is like, you know, I want to be a father and I want to have kids. And like, that's something my girlfriend and I, you know, and we're moving towards that. And so like, I want to leave a legacy of like being a good parent and a good father and not leave them with a fuck ton of trauma, you know?
That'd be good. That'd be good.
And
that'd be ideal.
Like,
what strategy are you using to procreate? All right, back to what you were saying. We're working on that now. How are you doing? How are you doing that?
How's that
going? We're leaving it in. Anyway, yeah. So more like that, kind of like that family legacy, those types of things. Not.
My like while I'm here and while I'm conscious and we can get real deep with that kind of stuff, like if I'm helping people and like again creating the space I am at the gym and creating a space for people to come together and like especially in this day and age, like work out, have fun, like relationships has been built out of my gym, people are getting married, like that's really all I care about. Like that's all I really want to impact. I want like the small community I can, the people I can, help them, make them laugh, all that kind of stuff. That's what I care about. As far as like trying to make a legacy and get rich and like create a brand, I could give a rat's ass about that. I'm being honest with you, because like that doesn't fulfill me. That's not like a human to human thing. That's very egocentric. I want to be a good parent when I become a parent. I want to be a good friend, a good spouse, like those kinds of things. And let that be what it's going to be and just be able to live a life again where like I can look back and my sister's passing obviously impacted me hugely on how I view all these kinds of things. Before then, as a fucking hot-headed teenager, I would have told you otherwise. But once my sister passed and then once processing that, my whole outlook on all of this completely changed. And so, yeah, I mean,
if you don't mind me asking, was it a traumatic, the way that you reference it sounds like it was traumatic. Was it something that was very, sudden?
She had leukemia. And so she's a half sister. So my father had another relationship. And so she was a lot older. She was in her early 40s when she passed, but it was over the course of 2 to 3 years. So like my junior, senior year of high school, and then my freshman year of college, my dad was with her all the time at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. They were fighting this thing. I didn't really see my dad a lot, like my final year of high school, because he was with her. And, you know, it was one of those things where she went into remission twice. So we thought maybe she was beating it, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then the final time it came back, they told her like, listen, like this is you're not going to survive this. And so they put her into hospice care. And they kind of knew when she was going to pass, she was on that track. And so kind of like the last week of her being alive, like the whole family came together where she was at. And we got to have conversations with her and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that just had a huge impact on me. I mean, it's like death that close. If you allow it, if you process that trauma, if you work through it and all that, like it's going to shape the way you see the world. Like it's impossible for it not to. And so
probably contributes to why you have such a strong tendency towards servitude.
Yeah, I would. Well, yeah. And like up until that point too, like I was living a life that I was going to a different college and I was making decisions for my parents and for like everybody around me, like what they thought I should be doing and people pleasing. And I was not in a good spot. And like, I was talking to her about this and, you know, she's on her deathbed and she's like, you can't do that. Like you have to live your life.
Yeah, just do whatever the fuck you gotta do. Yeah.
you got to do it your way and all that. And like immediately within 2 days, I told my parents, like, I'm not going back to that college. Like, here's the route I want to go. I want to go.
Fuck you, mom and dad.
Pretty much. And they were super supportive. They were supportive. They were like, honey, as long as you're happy, type of thing. Especially my dad. My dad was like, let's hear him out. Like I want my son happy,
I was wondering why you were going there in the first place, son.
Yeah, exactly. It was like I had a partial like scholarship for football and music. So it was one of those things where they're like, well, you got it paid for and all this, and it made sense. And but once that conversation happened and she passes and I'm like 19 and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what happens if I get a terminal diagnosis and all these kinds of things. It was very easy to start making decisions very quick in alignment with like the life I thought I would want to lead. And like that truly led me to where I am right now.
It's like The Alchemist right there, man. Did you ever, you read The Alchemist?
Yes.
I would assume based on this conversation. Yeah. But that's like the thing I was thinking about it the other day is like sometimes like it's nice to have a vision of your future. It's nice to have a vision of the goal. And I think this applies just to us as people, but then like clients that we work with, they have this vision of the goal. But once you get too stuck on that vision of the goal and you don't focus on now, you just want to fast forward to that goal and you will do anything to get to that goal as quickly as possible, which inevitably causes you to take a path that will not get you to actually to that goal. And then it's like you think you got to the goal. Like if it's speaking on stages and somebody's like, they do everything they can to fast forward it. They don't go through the process that would allow them to have maybe the opportunity to speak on a bigger stage because they have a more powerful message because they went through everything that you went through. They want to fast forward through it, create something. And it's like they got to speak on stage and it was like a school assembly. And it's like they got to the goal, but they missed what the big goal is. And thinking about hiking the incline in the Manitou Incline in Colorado. And I thought the peak was the peak. I'm walking, I go, oh, not too much longer. I'm passing this guy. And I was like, not too much more. He's like, that's not the top. And I'm like, what? Like, I've been watching it the whole time. It's the top. Stop fucking with me. He goes, that's a false top. I go, no, it's not. What are you talking about? I'm like, you serious? He goes, yeah, you still got like another third of the way to go. And as you come up around, you're like, holy crap, it just keeps going. So as you're saying, it's just reminding me of that. I think people, clients, us, we get so focused on the goal that we lose sight of the right now, and we fast forward and we miss life and we miss all the lessons. And we miss all the things that we could have potentially had or been or experienced. Has that stuff changed the way that you coach people, how you go about coaching people?
Absolutely. I mean, it's changed every aspect of like what I do, how I talk to people, the decisions I make. I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of business owners, I think a lot of coaches, if you ask them like, why are you making the decision you're making? They can't actually give you a solid why. They don't have a foundation of, values that they're making decisions from. I mean, you could go down the street and ask somebody like, hey, what are your 4 core values? They look at you like, what the fuck?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, dude? And it's like, well, how do you filter your decision making then? Like, how do you?
And then when you do, because this is like part of what like the program I'm starting this Monday. When you ask people, family,
right? Yeah,
character,
right?
Integrity, hard work.
It's just fucking words. It's
just words.
Yes, exactly. 100%. And it's people either haven't gotten taught or they haven't had an experience or whatever to sit down and like think about these things. But then it's like you're like a marionette is like controlling you. You don't know why you're saying yes or why you're saying no to something. It becomes very easy to be manipulated, to go with, like you said, like just fast track to success, whatever that looks like, to avoid the hardships because you just don't have anything to reflect your decision making on, right? Yeah. And so again, like part of my journey has been like literally, I still have it like one of my old journals sitting down and like, who the fuck am I? And like, what do I actually care about? And who do I want to be? And like, do my actions align with that? And like sitting down and like really writing out like my like 5 core value sets and then reflecting like, well, do you actually live that way though? You can say this shit.
Yeah. Then turn them into action statements.
Exactly.
It's not just words.
100%.
Can you 100%. Imagine if they taught this stuff in schools, how much better?
You know what the thing is? Listen, here's the reality with that kind of stuff. Being a high school health physician, that shit is part of the curriculum in middle school. Nobody gives a shit. Just like everybody says, they don't teach you about how to balance a checkbook. There's a whole class required by the state, financial literacy. People take it online. They don't give a shit. They learn about like stocks. They don't care. It's like, so they're doing that stuff maybe at an age that's too young, like a middle school kid's like, I don't care about values.
That's
Stop telling me how to live my life.
Yeah,
So these things are, but it's not emphasized. So it's taught, but it's not emphasized. And there's not like examples, and there's not real life people coming in to explain it the way that maybe
they're
you
also
are.
trying to teach you the same way they're teaching fucking algebra.
Everything else.
Right? Like the way you got to teach this is way different. Like maybe you got to take some of these kids to an inner city, like, you know, like maybe change the way that you're thinking about teaching that stuff versus just rote memorization of like fucking geometry or something like that. Like we're talking about different things here, right?
Yeah. But that speaks to the idea that sometimes people aren't ready to receive a certain type of message.
Correct.
That's very true.
Listen, like books like The Alchemist, Untethered Soul, Joe Dispenza books.
Yes.
If I read those things 20 years ago, I would have been like, I'm good, stupid ass stuff. Now I'm like, oh my God, this is 100%. The way.
Yeah. I'm the same exact way. I mean, like, it's funny you say Joe Dispenza stuff like that. Like, again, within the past like 3 years, like those things just appeared to me, and I'm like, yeah, if I would have picked this up like 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I was back in California,
ridiculous.
This is fucking mumbo jumbo bullshit. And now I'm like, oh, I actually feel so. Like I feel some of this. Like I understand some of this. Yeah.
Now you're like, Bashar channels to Earth through Daryl Anka. This is real heck. Like,
oh yeah, I get it,
dude. His teachings are just like Jesus. You're like, this is all making sense.
Oh, it all connects.
Yeah. We're all one unit, like mushroom under, like the mycelium unit underground.
We're just conduits of consciousness. Yes, absolutely.
This isn't a joking matter, Sean. Don't talk about the spirit world and then laugh afterwards. My name's Jeremy Awakens. Anyway.
You guys are making me want to do cocaine.
It's the opposite of what we're talking about.
Exactly. That's exactly.
He sees the happiness and like the understanding it. He's like, I know I'm happy when I do that, and I haven't had the. Yeah,
I need to 3 times right now.
I want to be able to tap into that dark, miserable side of myself. Sitting in a New York City bathroom on my knees, snorting blow off the toilet.
It's like, the same people saying no to the vaccine or doing coke off a toilet in a dive bar. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's how little I trust the vaccine. How is this hard for you to understand?
Well,
you're trying to make me sound stupid. You're proving my point. You are proving my point.
Mexican drug cartels have not survived all of this hardship financially without having a good product. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Listen.
They just
in the pharmaceutical industry, shit, toss up.
They have persevered, and they didn't have the quality control measures in place that Pfizer did.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I want to ask, because we'll go back and forth very randomly, go from serious something to like this, but because it popped in my head. This is the second time it popped in my head, but I want to ask you. You own a CrossFit gym.
Why do you hate CrossFit so much?
You have this much broader view on life, how people could be living their life and all that kind of stuff. We know that there's those downsides of CrossFit, of people overdoing it, feeling like they're not having an individualized program. And all 3 of us have done CrossFit. Aram, you're certified CrossFit level 1, right? Yeah, me too.
1, yeah.
So we all are there. How do you navigate that with in-person clients and maybe even online clients where you could be running yourself into the ground, causing some of the negative effects of participating in CrossFit, but at the same time you love CrossFit, you know that it benefits people and all that. How do you navigate that?
I think it's not, I think CrossFit, the like just ethos of CrossFit way back when completely got bastardized by the competitive side. And I can say that because I was a competitor. And like what you see on social media, again, everything gets bastardized because of social media, right? Everything, what gets amplified on there is the extremes, right? And so CrossFit had this weird like growth at the same time, like Instagram was growing. I've thought about this a lot, making the connection between like, I don't think if Instagram was a thing, CrossFit ever really would have gotten off the ground. Because it was like the same time CrossFit was growing, Instagram.
I'm fucking texting Dave Castro right now. Hold on.
Because again, what you started like seeing
It
people
blew up at that same era. It blew up in that same era. Yeah.
100%. And because you had people posting wild shit on social media, like doing handstand at the time, it was wild shit, handstand walking, snatching, all this kind of, what the fuck is it? This is crazy. But now you take that 10, 11, 12, 15 years into the future now, and that's what people, coaches, gym owners, that's what they think it's all about, which is got to work out 3 hours a day. I got to run myself into the ground. I got to fucking hit 5 Metcons. Every day has to be 100% max effort, like all these kinds of things. If you go back and you like read the original like journals from Glassman, which I know everybody loves to hate on Glassman now.
I love Glassman.
I think he had it figured out before everybody else did, because back then that was when Glassman was connected to Mark Twight and everybody else, and that's how it started. And I think it just, like you said, it took a wrong direction.
It took a wrong direction, and it started to just, get out of hand. It got out of Glassman's hand again because of just how popular it got, and then what people thought it was. Because, and this was his thing all the time, was like the games and all that. Like, that's not what CrossFit's about. It's about what's going on in the affiliates. But if you go back and you just like look at like what's the actual ethos of like CrossFit programming, it's like in a week you have a heavy day where all you do is lift heavy. Yep. You have a day where you do a longer aerobic based workout. You have a day, right? And it's 1 hour. And if you follow that, you're not going to really run yourself into the ground. If you have good coaches who are, temperament, like reading the room, being like, oh, that person looks a little tired today, whatever. And they're not afraid to fucking actually coach, which we can get into that. There's a lot of that, right? You have a great community, and it's like, you can come in maybe 4 or 5 times a week. And if the programming is that, you're going to be fine. But if the programming is every single day, we're going to run you into the fucking ground, 50 cal assault bike sprints, max out every single day, then yes, absolutely. If you're coming in and you're doing an hour class and then you're staying for 2 hours after because you have a pipe dream of becoming a fucking games athlete, that's never going to happen because you are not genetically gifted and not on all the steroids. Like, you just...
Wait, CrossFit athletes do steroids?
What?
No, they don't.
No, they're tested. No.
If I do CrossFit, will I look like them?
I
don't want to get that. Yeah, I don't want to get that jacked.
I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to, yes.
There was nothing better than watching Jason Khalipa at 230 pounds doing a marathon on a rower and beating everybody that was smaller than him. And I'm like, wait a second. How did he put on 10 pounds in the off season and get faster and better conditioned? That doesn't
How do you put on all that type 2 muscle fiber and yet still perform better aerobically? Yes. It's and there's that classic picture. It's him, Matt Chan, Rich, and they're just black and white. You're like, what the fuck is this?
First of all, I jerked off to that picture just as many times as any girl played with herself to that picture, so I understand that picture very well. And that's how you're
part of the cold. Part of the cold. That's our initiation.
It tells you everything you need to know about the poor direction that it went in, because it unfortunately sold this idea, because so many people come to us for the idea of body comp, right? Like, and this is where, like, 100%. As a coach, I like to simplify everything down to like, what is your ultimate end result? Is it to have a better squat and a deadlift, or is it to have a nicer ass? Right. Because if it's to have a nicer ass, we don't care about how much you squat and deadlift. Nope. We care about how much tension you're driving to the muscle. Yep. So, but if you want to have a community and you want to try dipping your feet into different pools of water and seeing what they feel like, and having people cheer you on and having some of that competitive side, I don't think there's anything better out there than CrossFit if you have good programming and a good coach.
That's the thing, right? And again, at the end of the day, that's what Glassman would always say. It comes down to the coaching and the gym. And this is what we like. My selling point for our gym, when people walk in, they go, "Oh, what makes you different?" Is I go, "We sell coaching in this gym. We're not here for our equipment. Yes, we have a great community. Yes, we're doing CrossFit, but we sell coaching here. I've been coaching for over 10 years. Our head coach has been coaching for over 10 years. We have multiple CrossFit level 3s. I have my CSC. Like, I can list all of it, but really just comes down to we have our 10,000 hours. Like, we've been doing, this is our fucking thing. And we will coach you. We're not cheerleaders. We're not like, go faster, right? We're like, stop fucking looking like shit. Here's how to brace correctly, all that kind of stuff.
That's really aggressive, Sean. I wouldn't want you talking to me like that.
I'm going back to Orange Theory.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, God, we can get into so much. I think so many people, business owners, gym owners, they're afraid, or, again, they don't know who they are. Like I told, like I am as an owner, unabashedly myself. Like I tell people, I'm like, we might not be for you. I will say things and like, I will coach you, and that's okay if we're not for you. I mean, I've had hard conversations with people who were members, and I'm like, here's how you're not living up to our expectations. You might need to go, like those are the hard conversations, the hard things you have to do to build the business, build the gym, build the community, especially when it's a community-based business like a CrossFit gym. Like I think a lot of people aren't willing to do because people want people to like them. They're afraid, etc. But it's like, if you have a clear idea of like where you want this to go, you got to be willing to have tough conversations, make the tough cuts, do that kind of stuff. And
otherwise it distorts the vision that you have, and it distorts the experience for everybody else. If you don't fit that culture, it's going to bleed into the other members of that gym. It's almost like us as coaches, and I'm sure you've probably had this happen in your life. Do you ever feel like when you take your foot off the gas pedal on your actionable steps, the rest of your clients almost see that as permission to do the same?
Yeah, I mean, it's my idea of leadership has always been like, show it. Like, don't just talk about it. Like, if you're a leader, like, show those things that you say that you're going to do. Like, don't be a hypocrite. Like, that's the word. Like, fuck, what are we talking about? Like, you're a leader, but you don't do any of the shit you're telling other people to do. Fuck off. Like, I'm not going to listen to you. Lead by example. There's a reason that's a fucking saying, It's like, do the shit you talk, be about it, right? Don't talk about it. Yeah. Or if you're going to talk about it, you better be about it. So it's,
or at least pretend to be about it better.
Yeah. At least post like you're going to be about it.
Yeah. At least find old pictures, post them.
Yes.
When you do have a salad, post that.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's an example of something that somebody's doing that you would actually be like, listen, you're not a right fit here. Yeah. What kind of behavior?
So like drama, like talking,
okay.
Like clickiness aspects like that. Because again, like being a CrossFit gym owner is like being a principal to high school. Like, like in many ways, I tell people like I'm running a community center more than.
Except you can't kick anybody out of a public school.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, and again, I'm very clear with what our values are as a gym. Like we haven't printed up. And again, not only do we haven't printed up, we continue to live them as a community, as me being the owner, as coaches. So if somebody is like falling out of line with one of those values, right, it's very easy to be like, hey, like, here's what you agreed to by being a member here. Here's how you were falling short of that. Either you get in line or like, you're just not gonna be a member here anymore. Yeah. Right. And luckily I haven't had to have a lot of those conversations since I've owned it. Like lots of times people just kind of filter themselves out. Because we have such a solid membership group, like that's super tight, and like we are who we are, and people kind of like whether we'll have like the ego macho dude that comes in or whatever, and like our gym is a lot of females that outlift the fucking dudes and like beat the shit out of the guys, and if they don't like it, they're gone. They're like, I can't handle this. They're out of there. Type.
It's funny. The one CrossFit workout where I vividly remember pushing harder than I ever did, it was because a woman was like about to lap me in an AMRAP. I'm like, I gotta keep going. I was just like pushing so hard. She's like my age. She was like, had a regular job.
Yep.
This was just her life outside of it. And I'm like, I gotta keep going. Funny that you say that.
Our top member as far as like performance, whatever. She's a woman who just had a kid like 15 months ago, and like everybody, man, female doesn't matter. They're like always gunning for her. If they like beat her in anything, it's like, it's just super fun. She's like a robot, dude. She's a machine. All she does, and this is a great example. All she does is our class program. She does an hour a day. That's it. Doesn't need it. And she was like in the top 100 in quarterfinals or something like that. It's just, there's this idea that you need so much with CrossFit, and it's like, you really don't. The whole idea was always GPP. Like hit an hour class. It's a great coach class. You're learning technique every single day. You have a long workout, all that kind of stuff. And like, you're good. You don't need anything more. Like I do our class programming an hour a day, and I'm still able to squat 400 pounds. I'm still able to do these things and still live the rest of my life, not be beat up. Like I have no issues. And like at other times in my life when I've been doing just Olympic weightlifting or other, I'm fucking beat up all the time. I'm just doing an hour a day, and like just did Murph, feel fine, can still squat heavy, like do all these things. I think people,
we get it, Sean. Jesus, making me and Rob feel bad.
I'm just saying, all of your fitness goals, like
hey, that's awesome.
you know, it's
Yeah, well, because you have a good balance of it. You're not doing. You have a good
Right.
balance, like the way it's supposed to be.
And my whole thing too is like my model for CrossFit too, and like this is you kind of going back to the, you know, I didn't want to rush to be a gym owner. It took me 10 years to become a gym. I knew at 18 I wanted to. I didn't start owning a gym till I was 28, and I wanted to work in the industry. I wanted to see like what is this actually like. I want to work under a couple different owners, etc. Like I want to have the long track for this. And what I found out was like from a business perspective, to run a successful business, you're going to have more than CrossFit classes. Like,
sure.
You know, you're just going to have to be able to offer more than that if you want to have a robust business. And so my model was always more of a hybrid model where, because I have the online programming and because all these different education outlets and stuff like that, was, hey, our CrossFit's our core, like that's the roots of the tree, but we have an open gym side and we can do individualized programming for you. You know, we have
like OPEX almost.
Exactly.
OPEX, yeah.
And I worked with them for a while as an athlete and stuff like that. And like
Okay.
I've always tried to dabble in lots of different stuff just to get information from myself as a coach. And, you know, so we have lots of people in the gym where like, and you guys experience, we've all experienced where we get a little burned out on CrossFit. Well, what happens to a CrossFit gym if that's all you offer? Bye.
Yeah.
They're going somewhere else now. But if you have professional coaches who can talk to that person and be like, all right, here, like, what do you need? What are you looking for? Like that type of thing. And then work with them. Well, now you get to keep that member. Now they're probably paying for their membership and additional programming, right? Their injuries or whatever are going away. They're like, fuck, now they get back into class or whatever type of thing. It's a win-win. It's a high tide rises all boats. And so like our model is more of a hybrid model where yes, like CrossFit is the core of it, but our average rate per member has skyrocketed because we have so many that are doing additional stuff. And they're, you know, maybe if they do have more of a body comp goal, they're able to attack that. You know, maybe if they've had this nagging shoulder issue for fucking 3 years, now they're doing the accessory strength work to strengthen that rotator cuff or whatever. We have an in-house physical therapist.
I was just going to say, I was like, if you have the space, you got to get a physical therapist there.
Dude,
that's awesome. And then he's paying rent.
Vital Movement. This is his business.
That's awesome.
He's great. He's great.
Awesome.
And so we have that. And my long-term goal has all like where it's at right now is a CrossFit gym. I've had this vision. Like we just had a woman come in and lead like a mindfulness and meditation seminar.
I was just going to say, you got to have breath work and yoga, cold plunges.
I have a cold plunge and a sauna already.
Boom. Have retreats there.
So my long-term goal is I want to get to a spot where I can have like a health facility where you come in and like, yes, it's a gym, but here is, you know,
the bar.
Get those blackouts, you know,
post-workout carbs.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, we have a mental health professional, you know, we have a financial professional, you know, we have a financial advisor in here. It's almost like this one-stop shop, because you see a lot of that. Again, we kind of started this whole thing with like the Andrew Huberman, and we have so much of this like preventative healthcare stuff going on, which on the one hand is awesome because there's so much information out there for people that otherwise maybe didn't have it. But there's so much of that that's misunderstood, or people who they don't know shit from shinola about the human body. And they're just like so it's like being able to have a facility where it's like you have all the different professionals. It's a one-stop shop. Let the professionals take care of you here. There's a community here, all that kind of thing. Like that's always been like my long-term vision for like a place that I would want to have and own. And it's awesome. Yeah.
It sounds like you're on the path. How far are you outside of the city? Are you in downtown? You're not in downtown.
No. We're about like 20 minutes north of downtown. So there's like Cedar Park, Austin, but like in between that, there's like where the Domain is and all that. So we're about 20 minutes north of downtown. You drive up north, and we're right off the street, Palm Springs. We're in Jollyville. There's a rub and tug right next to us that's just getting shut down right now.
Oh, never mind. Oh, shucks.
That would have been a nice synergy.
Yeah. Exactly.
So now you're gonna have to find a new place for massage. Maybe your gym can open. Maybe your gym could open one.
Yeah.
Massage, not the tub.
Massage.
Yeah. It's an Asian massage. It's a little different.
Yeah, it's good.
It ends
really
slightly
relaxed.
different.
Really
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I used to actually mop the floors at one of those places as a job.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And he didn't have a mop. So
yeah, exactly.
Dude, the mark clip button isn't up for this episode, so I can't mark clip.
Fuck.
which is messing me up. Which would like it'll make a short little section based
Oh.
30 seconds before I hit it, 30 seconds after.
Right.
Because that would have been a nice clip. We all were going like this, moving our heads in circles like we're cleaning up. Come with our mustache. Anyway.
Why does it have to be cum? Why does everything come with you always?
Because it was a rub and tug and you cleaned the floor. Was there just a lot of
shower,
sweat?
man? It could be pissed. You know,
what if there was urine? What if there was all sorts of? What if it was barbecue sauce?
This goes back to your Austin story where you had to take a shit.
Right, but I wasn't mopping up cum with my mustache. I was licking my fingers clean of ribs.
Correct.
That's all it was. Yeah.
Barbecue. Mm-hmm.
Terry Black.
Oh, my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Frightening. Absolutely frightening.
Well, I mean, you've almost convinced me to want to do a CrossFit class again. Almost. You're like
it's all about the gym. I mean, like anything else, it's about the gym. It's about the coaching. I tell people that come into our gym, I'm like, hey, try us out. Go try the other gyms. Go.
Yeah.
Like, this is the health and fitness space in general. If you're going to a brick and mortar place, like every place is going to be a little bit different. You could go to a gym and have a coach that literally like doesn't know what they're doing. Right. I mean, the buried injury, as you guys know, into our industry is like nothing, but vice versa. You could go to a gym, you could go to a 24-hour fitness and find a fucking amazing coach. Like, you know, it's a crapshoot out there. And so like, it's all about the gym. It's all about the coaching. And I tell people that all the time. Like, you know, we might not be the community for you. You might want the more cheerleader thing or whatever. Right. But like, go try other ones and find the one that works for you. I'd like to think you'll probably come back to us, but you know, it's
but if not, cool. We weren't the ones for you. Exactly. We didn't want you anyway.
That's the thing. 100%. Again, it's all about how do you filter your decisions. I'm okay. If somebody like is like, oh, you're not for me. It's like, cool. It's like any other relationship. Yeah. Be okay if somebody goes like, oh, you're not my person, whatever. It's like, what? Yeah. Like, why are we wasting each other's time here? You know, like that's okay.
Yeah. You know? And that's the same thing that I feel like we try to say with anything. Like try stuff and fuck around and find out has been the greatest thing that's come out over the last 10 years. When you break it really down, it's exactly what you just said. Fuck around and find out. Try all the gyms out. See where you resonate. Try the different strategies of diets. See what there is. Stop looking for the one answer. Okay, so is this the gym that's going to get me the solution? Is the solution to all my problems? Just try stuff. Yeah. See what you like. You know, it's like you might like it for 5 years. Then you're like, I don't like it anymore. I want to do something else. Cool. Go do that.
Absolutely.
Just what gets you excited? What makes you feel good? Do it. You know, it's that's the hardest thing is like the people thinking there's this one answer. Yeah.
Well, yeah, people get way too caught up in, again, like the silver bullet or like, again, I mean, at this point we have all these different professionals out there telling you what protocol to follow, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just taking agency away from people from trying their own stuff. And then they don't stick to it because they didn't feel like it was their thing. They didn't find it, right? What do we got? Oh, let's go.
Hendrix, what are you doing? I don't know.
You loser.
Fucking loser.
I want to ask you if I could go to
No. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, again, the proliferation of the Andrew Hubermans, the Peter Attias and all that, like I see it all the time in my gym. It's like, I read out Live and like, here's everything I need to do. And it's like, okay, are those healthy things to do? Yes.
Sure.
But like, you got to like try these things and like what might be working for you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for this next person. I mean, like diets and all that kind of stuff, of course, like I'm happy you found the thing that works for you, but saying that that's going to work for somebody else, like, no. And like, but too many people, the authority figure tells them, right? The doctor tells them like, well, this is what I have to do. It's like, you can try it, but if it doesn't work for you, that also doesn't make you a piece of shit. Right. You're not broken, You know, like so many people think that. And it's the idea of you are your own experiment. That's what I tell my clients that like are doing like lifestyle and health stuff. I'm like, look at yourself like an experiment. Try this thing, get data. And if something's not working, change, put a new input in, right? And that like takes the stress off of them that like they have to do it perfectly, or if the outcome isn't what they thought it was going to be, like they failed. It's like, no, dude, like you're just trying shit.
You found out. Was it Thomas Edison?
Now try
Yeah.
something else.
I think it was Thomas Edison. I didn't fail. I found out 1,000 ways that didn't create a light bulb.
100%.
You know?
Absolutely. And it's cliche, but it's like, that's fucking true. Like cliches come from a place of truth. Like,
correct.
You know, and the thing is when people finally find the thing that works for them, once they do that, it sticks with them, because going back to the journey, right? They're secure once they finally that, because I tried keto, I tried this, and I finally found the thing that fucking really hit with me. So when somebody comes along and goes, have you tried keto? You can go, I did. And you know what? Like it worked for a little bit or whatever. And now I have this. And well, but so-and-so, it's like, hey man, that's cool. Like I did it, you know, here's what works for me. And you can be like secure in the decision you make because you have tried that shit. Right. Yeah. And so it's just easier to stick to. I think that's one of the reasons why people don't stick to stuff, because it's somebody else telling them what to do. They try it. They don't really know. And you know, they haven't been given the tools to go and experiment and try different shit.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that whole self-discovery journey is,
absolutely.
Finding out who you are, you know, like you said, most people are even going back to going to college based on what you think your parents wanted, all that kind of stuff, or going on a diet because somebody else, go to this gym because your friend likes it. All that stuff, and then you wonder why you're just never happy with anything that you're doing. You know?
It goes back to again, it's like the marionette, like just is controlling you. You're just like, you don't think about it this way, but you're being manipulated.
It's Biden. It's Biden.
Who's really behind the curtain here?
Yeah, it's George Soros. Everybody knows he's the marionette.
Who's pulling this BlackRock back there? What's going on?
We know they're buying up all the houses, shooting up the value, even though the interest rates are super high, just pumping their pockets full with these 9% interest rates. Be you. Man, just pay cash for the house.
Yeah,
what?
Hey, I just got to follow my congressman's stock trading advice. I'll become rich, dude.
It's not a bad
idea. Pelosi for the win, dude.
Pelosi. She is a good woman, Sean. Do not talk about her. She's never done anything wrong. Do not. Her and Hillary are amazing women. They've done nothing wrong.
Back to
I'm sorry.
Leadership. Yes.
My mother was channeling through me just then. I apologize.
Hey, listen, if nothing else, Hillary knows how to take a dick.
Wow.
And we know that that's true. We know that that's true.
Wow. Who's giving it? Who's giving it?
Or she can tolerate Bill just dishing it out to anybody who will take it.
She was so happy. She's like, oh, thank God. Now I own him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think she set him up with Monica.
Fun fact, Monica Lewinsky, the first school I went to, Lewis and Clark, that was like on their pamphlet. That was like their claim to fame of like one of their past.
Monica Lewinsky went here.
Monica Lewinsky, yeah, dude. I swear to God.
That's amazing.
That like before, even that's after. That's after. Monica Lewinsky, you too can get cummed on. By
I remember seeing that. I'm like, huh?
That's a claim to
fame. They're like, yes.
First of all, that says so many things. It says that you have nobody else that you could put on the pamphlet.
Yeah, exactly.
So like famous.
The most successful person was an intern who came on. I mean, it's like, I don't want to go here. Do you have any other people who have accomplished
after a year? Yeah.
Oh my God. No, yeah. We'll give you a scholarship.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah. You might
put you on here. Right?
Yeah, you might be the one who replaces her. That's actually the thing. You want to get on our packet? All you got to do is be better than her, and she's the best so far. That's my legacy.
That's my legacy, you know.
Oh, my dad's actually the one who replaced Monica Lewinsky on the pamphlet at Lewis and Clark. She was on there for 35 years until
my dad came along and
not like that. He didn't come along like that. That was just Monica. He came along. He just showed up there. Oh my God.
That's amazing.
That is insane.
I still can't. Could you find that pamphlet? We'll put that as the graphic for this.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I would like to find that so we could put that as the graphic for the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they still have it, but like at one point, like
it's got to be somewhere. Digital material.
2011, 2012, like it was on their website. It was like famous along. famous alum. And
Wow. I feel like I would have skipped that one.
I'm scouring the internet for that
that
pamphlet.
tells you everything you need to know.
Oh, my
about
God.
that school. It was a liberal arts college in Portland, Oregon.
Well, luckily, we are coming to the end because Rob has to be somewhere. The sun is at the point now where it's making me look awkward. I do got to fix the shade situation. I feel like you hit on a bunch of awesome things, and I'm glad that we got to talk about the CrossFit thing because that's something that's come up so long ago, and I think you did a great job of discussing it and like how there can be such a difference.
If you're interested in it, just go if you want to try it. If the coach is not coaching or the vibe feels off, don't let that just be like all CrossFit gyms are like.
Yeah, they're just like blindly pushing you. Go, like kind
David
of a thing.
Goggins and you to fucking carry the boats.
Yeah.
Let's,
Yeah. Rob, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up before we get to the final question?
No, I'm still just
thinking about Monica.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find the pamphlet, but I don't know.
2010-ish.
2010, 2011 was
Lewis and Clark advertising pamphlet.
Yeah, it was like what
Google. Let's find out. Well,
thank you, Stag. Well, I'm going to thank Jamie again one more time.
Yeah,
Jamie's going to be speaking at my event in March of next year. But I
just found out.
She's awesome. She's great.
You going to come? Real Coaches Summit?
You got to come out, man.
This is.
So it's a coaching event.
Year number 3
here in Vegas.
Okay.
So it's it'll be up your alley because you're a bit of a nerd. So there's going to be all different topics that are being spoken about. It's not like a business of fitness conference. It's more tactical.
Okay.
So we're going to have
I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah. And
we do breakfast, Vegas, so lunch, have a happy. Everybody hangs out together. There's no VIP.
Everybody's
just
VIP.
People being people.
Yeah, like you don't have to pay extra to sit with me. It's just included.
Yeah,
I would though.
Yeah. I know. I don't want it.
Everybody.
Wow, what an upstanding guy you are, Jimmy. Such a good
part of my legacy.
2 grams of mushrooms in every care package, so we'll get you high.
Well, shamans.
Yes. We're all just wearing.
Aubrey Marcus will be there. It'll be great. He
is. Yes. It's going to be good. Yeah, it's a good time though. It's really, it genuinely is a great conference just in terms of the people that are there. It's not like a douchebag audience. It's just like real Coaches Summit. It really has become just real coaches.
Bring those kind of people out. You guys are real dudes. Just straight shooters. Not trying to sell bullshit.
It's nice.
No. Well, having integrity is not easy, but it works.
Yeah, bring your coaches. Aram, you give you a tiny discount.
Yeah, it's a little teeny minuscule.
Get them all. Get the group.
Little tiny one.
Yeah,
tiny one.
I go the route of Monica Lewinsky. Maybe it'll be a bigger one.
If you bring Monica, it'll be even cheaper. If you just get
See if I can pull that one.
She'll be the keynote.
I think she might be like 70 now or something, but whatever.
Take it.
I think her and Sarah Palin have done lesbian porn, but I'll have to confirm that.
I think that was a parody porn that you watched, Rob.
Oops.
It was called Oops, I Did It Again. Britney Spears was also in it.
So, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. So
yeah, it was Poops, I Did It Again. Britney Spears was also in it. It's a different genre.
We'll link that in the show notes.
Poops, I Did It Again. Jesus Christ.
Here's the link.
And this is about when the wheels come off the train.
Yeah,
so.
It's perfect. Hey, listen, if you made it past 55 minutes, that means we liked you. It's a good thing.
Yeah. No, this was like I'm talking to my boys. So
this was
in and out of serious to not serious to serious to not serious.
Yeah, no, I think it was good, good stuff. So we appreciate you, man. And I don't know if you ever listened to any of our shows before or not, but if you happen to make it to the end of an episode, you would know what the final question is. Do you know what the final question is?
I do not know what the final question is.
Ooh, this is a question that we ask to all of our guests so that we can compare and judge them to every former guest.
I love it.
Bye.